Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. This is HD, and I am here to bring you guys another Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And today we're going to look at another game with Dox. He's going to be the red Protoss player down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Howling Peaks. And there's his pylon coming up right now. And you know what? Casted a game of Dox already, met him out in Australia, great guy. Last game I did with him, you know, for the first 3/4 of the game, just incredible high Templar play, and I really think that you know, just watching him, quite amazing micros. So I'm excited to cast some more games of him here. I've actually got a few replays, and I want to go ahead and do a couple of them just to see how he's doing in these ladder matches. His opponent is going to be the blue Zerg player up here at the top right hand corner, and his name is Shark. So this should be pretty interesting, a Protoss versus Zerg. A little bit of a switch up since we did a Protoss versus Terran last time, and that drone can attack all he wants, or she wants, or it wants, but it will never kill off a Nexus. And interesting opening here from Dox. He's actually thrown the gateway at the front door. And I say that's interesting because usually most Protoss players, when they play HOTS, they open Naniwa style, but they get the gateway at the top of the ramp, and then they get the cybernetics core, and then they do the little Tetris maneuver with the Zealot, and down goes that drone. But usually that's what Protoss do, and you know, for Dox to actually place his gateways out here at the bottom of the ramp, very risky, especially on this map, because you've got two openings here into your natural expansion. And we can see that drone using one of the side openings now to go to the third. But I think this is actually really risky, and if Shark, I mean, he saw this. He could theoretically throw down a gas right now, get really quick Zergling speed, ram in as many Zerglings as he can, literally ram them in here. And I don't think that Dox would be able to hold it. I think Dox could just lose because the Zerglings could kill the natural very easily, or they could run up the ramp and just cause mayhem and havoc. But, you know, Shark has said, well, instead of being aggressive here, I'll just get a third hatchery. And that seems to be his, you know, that's his prerogative, his choice. But if I was playing Zerg right now, I think I would definitely have second thoughts here. I might just go for a quick speed and go for an all-in and just try to punish Dox. But you know what? Dox is gonna get his Nexus down, and I don't think he's in any, you know, threat anytime soon here. And he's gonna run that drone up, find out what's going on, and he will see the gas. Or did he see the gas? Let's go ahead and check. No, he actually didn't see the gas. Well, no real point to sending the probe in there if you don't check on the Vespene in the back. You really don't see the Roachhorn, potential Roachhorn, the potential speed. I don't know, but he's gonna see the third hatchery at the very least, and I think Dox is actually going to be happy to see that, because now he knows, alright, well, probably not going to deal with any Zergling aggression for some time. A couple of more gateways here to go ahead and wall off that front door. Pretty smart. He has his mothership core on the field as well, but like I said, there's a second opening into this natural, and while the front is now completely sealed off and protected, there is still an opening at the side, so we'll see what Dox decides to do. He's actually chronoing his warp gate right now. Do note his Nexus has just warped out, so he has two bases. And with two gateways here, I like the timing. He's not going to drop another chrono boost, and the two gateways are actually going to finish right about the time that Cybernetics Core finishes researching. Maybe just a few seconds earlier, and he is going to be aggressive here based off the scouting information he got. So he did see that quick third hatchery, and he says, well, I've got an opportunity here to do some damage. I've got a proxy pylon up on the high ledge. Going to send one stalker over right now. And Zergling speed is on the way, but it won't be done for some time. This hatchery could be in some trouble depending on how much Dox wants to commit to this attack. He's got one stalker and two zealots right now. That queen will not be able to hold. She'll need to call on backup. She's going to run for it, scurrying off the creep. And the Stalker will not chase because there are two Zerglings there. But now, what about the hatchery as the drones retreat? And that hatchery is going to be in a lot of trouble. Dox is probably going to be able to take this down, and I don't really need to explain to you guys how devastating it is to lose your third hatchery as a Zerg player. Dox with just a good scout, sees the quick third, and whoa, he tries to get a pylon up inside the main base as well. I don't know if that was, I don't know about that. Now he's going to get the third hatchery, but he could have just placed the pylon on the low ground right here, and then scooted the probe up to the high ground and then warped in. So that was a little weird decision making. It looks like Dox might end up losing his units here. Going to get surrounded on both sides. 2 force fields coming down. And Shark just trying to get something for what he lost here, trying to force the Protoss to lose something. And he will actually kill off several forces there, several high gas units. But there are still 2 Stalkers here, and that pylon still on the left-hand side. We can see 38 Zerglings morphing in at this current time. So, well, you know what? Shark losing a third hatchery. A lot of times I just say, at this point, you're pretty much all in. So he's making a ton of Zerglings right now, and I think what he's going to do is he's going to crush this army pretty easily, and then try to go for a counterattack run by at the Protoss natural. But there are still Zealots over here. We'll see if he decides to deal with that pylon first, so he doesn't have to, you know, deal with any attacking units. And he actually ran by, did not see the pylon, and he won't care about it. He's actually going to make his move now all the way down to the bottom right-hand corner. And he knows now, at this point, he is all in, and there is an opening here in the wall. Dox needs to close off that opening, or he's going to be in so much trouble. Close it! And the pylon, or the photon cannon, coming up at the very last second. And do note here, he doesn't have any vision on the map. He had no idea that this attack was coming, except for instinct, StarCraft 2 instinct, and that was very, very good. Just realizing that, hey, Zerg is on 2 bases. I put him in 2 bases. He might try to all-in me. It's probably a good idea to wall it off. And he built that photon cannon at the perfect time. Couldn't have been a second later, or he might have been in some trouble there. And looks like now those Zerglings are going to try to get rid of this pylon, but the Zealots have +1 weapons, just finishing it up there, and they are just 2-shotting the Zerglings. And with reinforcements arriving in here, those Zerglings are going to retreat, and it looks like the option here for our Blue Zerg player, Shark, is to try to rebuild the third hatchery and catch up once again. And I'm actually looking at the income and the supply tabs. He isn't behind. That's interesting. You would think after the damage Dox has done, he would be ahead right now. Perhaps he's invested too much into trying to keep this pylon safe, trying to keep Home Sweet Home alive here, but it might have ended up costing him more than he wanted to. And now with roaches on the field, there's no way Zealots are going to be able to hold on, even with +1 weapons. And it does look like he really wants to keep this pylon, this so-called Home Sweet Home safe, some more. Really investing a lot there. I think that does hurt him a bit because he can't tech up, he can't go the routes he needs to go with, and if he wants to really keep this home safe, he needs to kill off these rocks, man. That would help a lot, actually. Just make it so that the Zerg can't get up the ramp if you know, force the rock tower to collapse. And it looks like he's reading my mind, so Dox is going to go ahead and destroy those rocks. This is a very interesting play. Dox has weird games, man. Definitely not orthodox by any means. Look, he's even weakened the rock tower down to 20 HP, so a couple more hits and that becomes a natural force field. It'll fall down and cut off the forces, and he needs to do it now. Oh no, he drops a force field instead. He should have broken down those rocks earlier, and now it's too late. He's going to lose all of his forces and kiss your sweet home goodbye. Those units are going to be stranded, but looks like they're going to break the rocks to get on down the ramp once again and rejoin their home. Very interesting right now. Dox is losing quite a bit in supply, though. 60 under 110. And he is going for a Dark Shrine right now. He might just feel like at this point he's been on 2 bases for so long. He hasn't gotten a third hatchery, or third nexus, excuse me. He's invested so much resources into that pylon over there, and now I think he's just gonna be in this kind of weird all-in situation, and I guess he's gonna rely heavily on these Dark Templar here to get him back into this game, or to try to end the game. And I'm not too sure where they are. Oh, they're inside. No, there's 4 sentries inside the the Warp Prism, so he hasn't made any DTs yet. His plan here, I think, is to drop the sentries off into the main base and perma-force field the ramp, and then warp his entire army under the umbrella of the Warp Prism. And this could be brilliant. This could be the maneuver Dox needs to get right back into this game. And look at how many tech structures there are inside the Zerg base. The assassins have come in, the silent assassins have been called into duty. And as long as Dox keeps the ramp perma-force fielded, I don't see how Shark is going to be able to hold this off. He's going to only have the larva in the main base here to defend his main base with. He won't be able to rely on outside forces. He can only rely on the larva inside and any air units. We do have 4 mutas on the way. And it looks like some roaches have spawned out, but there's no detection. And why are the drones running away from the 3rd hatchery? I'm so confused right now. It looks like Shark is just so flabbergasted by the DTs that he's just scrambling his drones everywhere, and he doesn't know where to go. Oh, and oh god, that ramp needs to be force fielded here for Dox. Shark could actually just get the luckiest break of all time. No force field to follow up, and now these DTs have a limited lifespan to kill off what they can. They will get the lair, and will they get the infestation pit? Shark cannot let that go down. He already lost a critical tech structure, and that is the lair. A big loss right there for Shark, but he is still pretty far ahead in supply. You have to remember that was an investment of army units from the Protoss player, and Dox didn't really lose. Shark didn't lose army. He lost a hatchery, and that is going to hurt. You know, he won't be able to mine, but it's not going to hurt too bad because he has a top left hatchery all the way over there at the 11 o'clock position. So he's still going to have at least a 1 base advantage here. And as I see him moving out across the middle of the map, he's incorporated swarm hosts. He's got a huge army of roaches. He's got muta support as well. At this stage of the game, even though it's 17 minutes in, look at Dox's army. It is really small and really kind of pathetic at this point. He needs a 3rd base, but at this moment in time, he needs to worry about his front door. I don't know how in the world Dox is going to be able to secure a 3rd while defending here, and it looks like the siege has begun. The onslaught of locusts has arrived, and now what are you going to do? There's a Nexus coming up, and he's trying to keep the Nexus up, but there's mutas there, and so now Dox is going to have to split his attention. There are more swarm hosts coming out as well, so that siege is going to become very problemsome soon enough. 1 swarm host, you can deal with that, but multiples, that's going to be very hard for Dox to handle, considering he doesn't have Colossus or air yet. And to deal with swarm hosts, you need Colossus or air. And we can see a support bait coming right now, but he needs, if he's going to make Colossus right now, he needs to secure the 3rd base in order to afford the Colossus. And I don't know if he's going to be able to secure the 3rd base because the rocks have gone down here and his army is 100% out of position. These roaches could just run on down and kill off this 3rd Nexus. And if this 3rd Nexus goes down, kiss goodbye to Colossus. There's no way in hell that Dox is going to be able to manage that. And what is the Zerg player waiting for? He needs to go, go, go! And it looks like the army has come all the way around full circle and is going to engage here. Swarm host now burrowing down. There is an observer providing detection for those DTs. And the DT is just going to work, trying to take out as many swarm hosts as possible. Finally, Shark bringing in detection of his own, and that is the Overseer pushing away the DTs and the Observer. The Observer almost going down, but is going to barely survive with orange HP here. And this is a battle of detection as those roaches come in. Wow, this is not good for Shark. He just threw away a huge pack of roaches for what? Those Immortals just ate them for breakfast. And unbelievably, I don't know how that Nexus stayed alive. That Nexus should be dead. But somehow, some way, he was able to keep that base alive, meaning that he will be able to afford Colossus, oh so critical, and now it looks like he's going to slay the rest of these roaches, and the DTs will finish off the Swarm Hosts. Unbelievable. Dox has just somehow got himself right back into this game. Beautiful micro, snuck in the silent assassin DTs into the left side just right when the forces were out of position and had the observer there to take out several swarm hosts. And yeah, swarm hosts are not cheap, man. Those are very expensive units. And now those DTs, their mission is not complete yet. They're going for the bonus level here, but the drones have burrowed down, so no extra points for the DTs. And it looks like at least the hatchery is going to go down. What kind of points do you get for that? But there are roaches coming. They're not going to be able to save it. Dark Templar firepower is actually just insane, even against buildings. And now Overseers are here. So the Dark Templar, they get to the bonus level. They finish off the hatchery. Well done right there. And, you know, under that aggression, what is Doc's doing? He's going for the 4th Nexus. So he's looking pretty good, I gotta say. His supply is still not, you know, as close as it should be to the Zerg player, but you have to remember most of this Zerg army is inflated. It's overinflated with roaches, and as long as Dox makes a lot of sentries here, which I'm seeing him warp in a lot of sentries, he should be okay. You know, force fields just completely own roaches. But then again, I'm looking very closely at those roaches, and they do have tunneling claws. Oh man, 23 minutes in, we have tunneling claws here, so the force fields could be completely negated. Although those force fields were not very good at all. Not too sure what the deal with those were. And Dox is gonna, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. The roaches are just filing in, full surround here, and a lot of immortals and sentries could go down. Not good for Dox. He can't lose these high gas units. A Zerg player can afford to lose roaches. It looks like the Mothership Core brought in to purify the Nexus. And one Colossus coming in from the west just to provide support. It looks like Dox is just barely, with the skin of his teeth, is going to be able to hold on. And he will slay all of the roaches. But then again, you gotta remember, as a Zerg player, you can afford to lose roaches just as long as you're on Hive Tech and you're ready and prepared to remax on Hive Tier 3 units. But I'm looking at the production tab here, and you know, the Zerg has a ton of money, a ton of gas, but he is not maxing on Hive Tech units. He just got the Hive finished, and he's just now making the Greater Spire and researching pathogen glands. So he actually cannot max on the units he needs right now, and as a result, he could lose this hatchery. Wow, what a crazy turn of events. And I gotta say, you know, a lot of that probably because he lost his lair so early on, and you know, losing the lair means you're not going to have a hive as soon as you should. So losing all those roaches actually hurt pretty badly for the Zerg player, and Dox is coming right back into this game, threatening to take out this hatchery, just kind of roasting up a couple drones here or there. And you know, now is the perfect time to strike, I think, for the Protoss player. His supply is very close to the Zergs now. There are no Broodlords. There are no Infestors on the field. It's just roaches and Corruptors. But Dox isn't going to overextend here. He knows that losing the Colossus here to just the Corruptors could be pretty deadly. You know, he doesn't have that critical mass yet. And he's on 4 bases. So what he's going to do here is sit back, and I really like that decision. Just stay back, play it safe. Units lost here, showing that Shark has lost a little bit more, which is what you'd come to expect from a Zerg player. Templar Archives and Stargate on the way, so we're probably going to be seeing some Archons and Mothership action pretty soon here. And it looks like Shark really being aggressive, wants to make a push. But this map is very hard for Zerg to attack on. He is going to be able to kill off all the Colossus though, and that is a pretty good hit and run because he didn't get caught with his roaches on the other side of the force field, so he can just retreat now and gets away with basically murder. Kills off 2 Colossus and doesn't have to stick around to answer for his crimes. So that was a great play by Shark, and that is the move that he needs to keep him in this game, because for a moment there, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was kind of worried. I thought Shark is in trouble. Doesn't have Broodlords, doesn't have Infestors. That army for the Protoss is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But he was able to kill off 2 Colossus there for free, basically. So that is pretty good. And one thing that is going also very well for Shark is the fact that the Protoss player doesn't have the Mothership out yet. he just now started the Fleet Beacon, and you can't really combat the Zerg late game Death Ball without a Mothership for Vortex. And actually in Heart of the Swarm, it is harder to get a Mothership out because you can't chrono boost it out of the Nexus. It's made from the Mothership core, and that is a unit. You can't chrono boost it, so it actually ends up taking longer to get out on the field, and that could be problems here for Dox. As the Zerg player makes an attack, great timing here. Interesting, doesn't have any Infestors to back up this ball of his, so it's not really the full tier 3 Death Ball. It's kind of supplemented with Roaches instead. So it's like the poor man's Death Ball right now. I'm not sure why. He has more than enough gas. He's making a side attack at the same time, just trying to maneuver himself into the best possible position here. And will he be able to do it? Now, the thing about going with this type of ball of Zerg units is once you lose all the Roaches, you gotta get out of there. Those Broodlords are super weak to the Stalkers and Archons. He picks off the last Colossus, though, and Force Fields out of Dox here, just trying to keep the Roaches at bay. We'll see what happens. The Broodlords, oh, the Roaches all cut off right now, so now the Roaches are starting to go down in number. And it's probably a good idea for Shark to just pull the Broodlords out, because without, like I said, without Roach support, he can't really hope to fight. The Mothership Core called back home to defend for herself. And she's a pretty independent woman, man. I think she'll be able to handle herself pretty easily. But over here on the the bottom right hand corner, her underlings are going to be able to do pretty good work themselves. In fact, all the Roaches have gone down, and Shark did not pull the Broodlords out. He didn't kill the Nexus either, and basically he stayed there and fought for nothing. I mean, he did kill off some Protoss units. He killed off a lot of Protoss units, but overall, I don't know if that attack was worth it. If anything, that huge battle bought Dox the time he needed to get a Mothership on the field, and you can see right now there is one Mothership on the way. So I think that went pretty well for Dox. He didn't lose the Nexus. He was able to kill off several Broodlords. And I'm just kind of scratching my head right now. Why in the world isn't there Infestors coming out? Look at the Zerg gas to minerals. There we go. Infestors now starting to come out. 4 Infestors, in fact. All right, so I think he's finally got the idea. He needs Infestors. I'd like to see Neural Parasite as well. That's not a bad spell to cast on a Mothership in the heat of battle. And 9 Infestors coming out, so that's good. He is maxed though, so the one problem here for Shark is he doesn't quite have. He has too many Roaches. That's the big issue right now. So I'd like to see him maybe just throw away some of those Roaches, clear up some supply to get more Broodlords, more Infestors out. Those are the 2 key units here that you really want to focus on as Zerg. It's a bit of a lull in the action right now. Zerg on 5 base, Protoss on 4 base. And this game, I think, is pretty much as close as you can possibly get. Like I said before, the only one problem I foresee is this is a very choked off map, very closed, a lot of little narrow hallways and passages, and you know, you don't want to rely on Roaches here against tier 3 Protoss. You need Broodlord Infestors, so I'd like to see him start to engage a little bit, lose some of his Roaches, and remax on a better unit composition. And I think that's what he's going to try to do here, but that Mothership is out, and she is here in all her magnificence and royalty. And does she have enough energy for Vortex? No, she doesn't. It looked like for a second there Dox was trying to get a Vortex off, realized he doesn't have enough energy, still 15 away, and the Zerg now coming in with everything. Meanwhile, a couple of Zealots going up to the top left-hand corner on a silent mission, as the Mothership is just continuing to pull away. It looks like Dox is trying to buy time with hallucinated Colossus here so he can get enough energy for Vortex. Clever maneuver. And I think that might have just gotten him enough time for Vortex. The Mothership is ready. And here she goes. That was less than stellar Vortex. Most of the Zerg units were already dead at that point. And it looks like the Zealots up here at the top left-hand corner are going to be able to kill off that hatchery. Oh no, what are you doing? Don't send your Broodlords inside as well. And everything comes out of the Vortex, and it's just a disaster for the Zerg player. Look at all the blood there. Protoss players do not bleed, so all that red blood does belong to the Zerg. That was just That was genocidal, and now he's trying to remax on 1,000,000 infestors, but I don't know if just purely infestors is gonna cut it here. I think Dox has just pulled off a sick game here. Another crazy game by Dox. I don't know. He has weird games, man. I'm looking forward to casting more of his Protoss games. Very interesting. He seems to come back a lot of times when he's about to lose. He has very aggressive play as well. Remember the last game I casted? He had those crazy high Templar, super micro feedback. This game, he tried to, I don't know what he tried to do. He tried to, oh yeah, he tried to be aggressive with the pylon at the 3rd hatchery, and it ended up overextending himself, and I thought he was done for, but somehow made a game out of it. And now he has taken a dominant lead, killed off the hatchery, killed off 2 hatcheries in fact, and now holds a supply lead of 178 supply to 117. Well, I hope he closes out this game sooner than the last one. Because at this point, I don't know what a Zerg player can do. I really don't, guys. I have a magic 8-ball here. I'm shaking it. It says there is no answer for Shark. Give up hope. You have no future. Those are the 3 things I just got in a row. So it looks like Dox is probably going to win this game. 186 supply to 121. Big army coming in here, and I think at this point, yeah, good fungals, but the Protoss firepower is just way too much here. So there's another vortex. Oh my god. Oh, the Archons are going inside. This is going to be genocide round 2, and just watch all the red blood cover the snow after this. Oh god, it's so nasty. Oh, it's repugnant. Oh god. Oh, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. At least Dox closed it out, and he had the mercy. You know, he didn't extend the game and torture his opponent any longer. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm actually really looking forward to doing a couple more games here of Dox. So I'll have a few more coming out, and don't go anywhere. This is HD StarCraft signing out.